All right, so LeBron is the first active billion-dollar player in NBA history.
Yes, he is. And we got to give a shout out to his team for helping him get to this point. And it's not just Rich Paul and Maverick Carter, y'all. Like,
Way bigger than that.
we know that they're very influential pieces, a part of the picture there. But the team behind the scenes that's actually, they're getting dirty in the work that it requires to get to that level. And again, not that Mav and Rich aren't. I'm just saying that
there's other moving parts.
There's other moving parts to it. That's all I'm saying. But shout out to the entire team that helps LeBron get to where he is. And the credit there to as well is the fact that, and we've oversaturated this phrase I'm about to say, is knowing your role. But I think that it's critical that people understand that, hey, not everybody in the room is going to have that God-gifted talent to do something great, right? To the point where it brings a certain level of attention that allows the brand to grow for the greater good of everyone. Yeah. And if we can buy in and lock in on that, we can get so much further ahead. Period. Like, that's just it. Everybody doesn't have that mindset because everybody wants to be the man, and you can't.
No.
Play your role. Again, that's an oversaturated phrase now, but play your role.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I needed to add that. I needed to add that to that.
No, you good. I feel like with Bron, I wonder sometimes, would he be as influential as he is if he didn't go with Nike? Because obviously Nike, and the reason why I'm asking you that is because that was Nike's goal, not to just make him a figure, but to make him impact people.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying Adidas wouldn't have been able to do it because they're doing a great job with Anthony Edwards. But Reebok came to him as well.
Yeah. And
the $90 million wasn't the most out of those 3 deals.
Yeah.
I believe Adidas was like a little over 100, and Reebok was somewhere like around 60 maybe. I believe they came to the table first.
I think whatever brand he was going to go to,
you do?
He was going to be the same. Yep. Because what Nike recognized about LeBron was that they had a once-in-a-generation type of guy in front of them, right, who already had a following, a brand. He was marketable, right? And they said to themselves, this is our way to light the torch into the future. This is earlier on. I'm talking like 2004, 05, like real early in his career. Yeah. And they recognized that. And if Adidas had that opportunity, they would have done the same thing. And because he had one of the things that LeBron had, he was a cultural influence.
Correct.
He's like that Allen Iverson in terms of like black culture, in terms of people buying into, being a king and having that just that fire in their belly to want more than what's currently being presented to them. So to answer your question in full, yes, he would have gotten still to this level because of his cultural influence and him as a brand already prior to even signing a check with Nike. And he alluded to this a bit because you remember there was a check already written for him when he got to the table. I believe it was with
it was Reebok.
It was Reebok.
Yeah.
They had the check already written. They put it in his hand.
Yeah.
And he turned it down.
Yep.
Because Reebok knew the type of cultural influence and brand LeBron was and what that would have meant for the company Reebok. That would have, oh my God, that would have put Reebok way ahead of the game. Because then you got to think, after LeBron signed with Nike, there were a plethora of other players who then said, you know what, I'm going with Nike. Yeah. Because he had that type of influence. Effect. Yes. So yes, they would have gotten there.
So I'm hearing what you're saying, but I disagree because I think that he had to be in the right hands. And it sounds to me like you have to be prepared for that type of talent, even though we didn't know he was coming.
Yeah.
Right? So Reebok dropped the ball.
In terms of what, though?
They dropped the ball in terms of writing the check.
Okay, that could have been premature. That could have been premature.
So what I'm saying is
But he had the wisdom to reject that. You talking about a poor kid from the inner city of Cleveland.
But he didn't take the biggest deal is what I'm saying. He went to the person that would fit his brand. And I think that when you don't go to the right person, that hurts you. So example, Nike went with 90 million, Reebok went with 60, and Adidas went with a little over 100. How do you drop the ball when LeBron comes around? You get one chance.
Yeah.
Right? You leave the check blank and you dot all your I's and you cross all your T's and you give LeBron what he wants. Nike was the only one that could do it, I believe. I don't see it happening any other way, because if that's the case, why did anybody else get it done?
I mean, also
you see what I'm saying?
Because Nike also had a brand too, though, bro. Like
no, correct.
Nike,
but we're saying the same thing though. There was only one company that could get that done with Bron.
But Adidas also was going on during that time. They had some players: KG, Tim Duncan, Tracy McGrady. Like they had some reputable guys. Reebok had AI, so like it wasn't like
he's holding Reebok down by himself.
He was at that time. But Adidas had some, and I know I'm missing some players, but they had some guys during that time. So they were on a.
I don't think it was enough.
Yeah, but those guys I just named, from a cultural and brand perspective, they weren't LeBron James.
Yeah,
I'm a Tim Duncan fan, but come on, he was a born Hall of Famer.
I think we're agreeing. We're saying it different ways.
We are. We probably are.
We're saying the same thing.
Cool.
Because even with all those people, they still dropped the ball.
Yeah. I mean, what could you have done to market Tim Duncan better, though?
What Nike did?
Give him the because they built a gym for LeBron on the
talk about the museum.
The museum, sorry, the museum.
Don't disrespect. That's a museum.
Yeah, it's a museum. But they were gonna do that for Tim Duncan. That's not. I would have bought a ticket to go there for my birthday, but like
my thought process on that is, when you have a generational player like that, you got to do generational shit.
No, you do.
So what at all costs, and maybe they were overzealous. Maybe the person that was in charge of that deal wanted LeBron so fast that they just knew.
They wrote a check.
They knew that he had a number and he didn't.
And that's what happens in America with a lot of brands.
That fucked them up.
Is that a lot of brands out there, and I see this with clients of courtside wealth partners. I see this with clients. Good is plug. That these brands come to these athletes, and they know that they come from very humble and modest beginnings, right? And the first thing they want to do is pull out a check.
Throw the money.
And that is the quickest way that you're going to get. You're not going to get the player that you want. Exactly. Think about how, to that point, Rob. Think about how you can really add. This is another saturated statement, right? But think about how else can you add value to this talent that you are writing a check to. So to your point, I'm going to start the meeting with the blank check, because what I really value is you, and it don't matter what the number is. I need to figure out how to make you an even bigger brand while also helping carrying the torch to bring this brand to a certain place so that other players have the opportunity to come and have a spot in where we're going as a company. I mean, you're seeing
Nas, just keep the check. Just hold the check until it's time for the check to come.
That too, but people got
went in the checkbook too fast.
Stop writing the checks. Stop writing the checks, and obviously we're not saying.
We're gonna name the episode that.
Stop writing the checks. Come to the meeting prepared to talk about how you're going to help enhance my brand.
That's it.
To make me a more marketable player on and off the court.
Then we can talk about the check.
That's it. Period. Yep.
Because when you come with the check, what happens? Only one person wins.
Only one person wins.
Adidas, Reebok, stay up. For everything.
Adidas is just doing well though.
No, they're doing great. I'm just with specific to Bron, I'm saying.
And I think with specific to LeBron.
Specific to Bron, not as a whole. We're talking about LeBron when he's coming out of St. Vincent, St. Mary. We all have one shot. They had one shot with Michael.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You get one chance.
Yeah, and I think something else that comes down to, when you make these decisions out there is when you are looking at some of these companies, you want to also, I think Nike being publicly traded could also be a factor, because for them to make certain business decisions, they still have investors that they have to.
They got to tap in with. They got to check.
They got to go talk to the board, right? And sometimes the board if the company is publicly traded, like New Balance is a private company, so they have more flexibility to make decisions versus, hey, the stakeholders that be for Nike,
other people that are
it's too many.
invested in
It's
this
other.
thing.
It's other hands in the
I'm
pot.
with you.
So you when you are an athlete and you're trying to make a decision, it's bigger than just the check. It's bigger than just. It's bigger than what you might think it is while you're at that table. It's thinking critically about, okay, I know if I have a creative direction I want to go with my brand, and this is probably LeBron saw the vision early on about
Before
this.
we did.
But like, if you have a creative direction that you want to take your brand and the company, and you're thinking about how this company is going to support that creative vision, you also got to factor in whether they're a private company or a public company as well. And this is stuff that I talk about with my clients. It's like, yo, we can't just make a decision based off of them writing you $80 million check. Like we got to.
There's more to it than
slow
the
down.
AMs. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're harboring on the point here a little bit more,
No,
like a
I'm with
little
you.
bit longer. But I just wanted to emphasize a little bit.